So today we're here with Justin Crosswhite, and we're going to ask him a few questions. So what do you do at NDSU?
Wyatt, I am a faculty member here at NDSU. I teach a few classes, mostly to deal with general livestock production as well as meat animal evaluation. That includes price and value of both live animals all the way to the carcass and then on down to the retail cuts as well as what the consumer would pay. And then I also coach the livestock judging team. The livestock judging team is it's individuals that are undergraduate students that are interested in livestock, and we travel across the country from anywhere from Austin, Minnesota to Houston, Texas, and we compete against other land-grant universities, which is what NDSU is, in classes that involve pork or swine, beef, and beef cattle as well as sheep, and includes the live value of which animals would be worth more than the others. And the really important thing about judging is it's not as big of a deal because there's not as many of those students that are directly going back into production as more of, it's got a large communication aspect to it. And as we get further removed from agriculture and generations removed from agriculture, it's very important for our students to be able to intelligently and confidently display themselves and communicate what our industry does, and tell people how good we do it and what we enjoy about it.
Okay. So you, as a BBQ Boot Camp speaker, how do you feel about the average person's knowledge on agriculture?
Well, it really varies, and what I tell people usually is I've spent a lot of time in different parts of the country. I started out in Oklahoma, I spent a few years in Florida, and now I'm in North Dakota. And in North Dakota, we're very lucky that most people are still pretty closely related with agriculture. They're either 1 or 2 generations removed, maybe 3 generations removed. So they're still, their grandparents probably farmed or had livestock, so they still have a pretty solid knowledge of agriculture. However, when I was in the state of Florida, most of those individuals and those consumers are probably more like 5 or 6 generations removed from agriculture. And when you get that far away, you don't really understand maybe where meat comes from. And it's not, well, we have a great consumer base that wants to know, and that's great. I really appreciate that people want to know where their food comes from. I mean, I want to know what my doctor is doing, so I definitely would, I appreciate people wanting to know where their meat comes from. But I would say their base knowledge of how we do things is probably low to average, just because they, not from a knowledge base, just from an experience base. They haven't been around it.
All right, so last question here. What do you think is one of the most important things that people should know about agriculture?
Just to always never stop asking questions. A lot of people get upset that people want to know where food comes from, and I don't have a problem with that. I really do think that America has gotten, and the world has gotten where it is because there's people that ask questions. But the important thing is to make sure you know who's answering those questions. To make sure that I don't go to a doctor and ask him or tell him how to do something, so I wouldn't expect a doctor to come to me and tell me how animal science works. So always make sure your source is very good, and then just think about what you're doing. So you have a farmer out there, they're working hard, they're doing the best they can. They're not coming to your job as an insurance agent trying to tell you how to do your job. So just have comfort in them, and maybe even tell them good job every once in a while. If you see somebody that you think may be involved with production agriculture, feel free to go up to them and thank them for the food that you eat every day.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having an interview with me today.